Hello, today is December 25th, 2019, and the time is 11:25 a.m. Today's Christmas Day, and I would like to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas. And hopefully your day is going awesome. So it's been a while since I've posted any videos. Last spring, I believe, I took down pretty much all my videos. And several months ago I reopened, made public a handful. So I guess an update is in order. So early this year I was encouraged to proceed with the Supreme Court of Canada, which is an appeal, the last final appeal, the highest appeal, regarding my criminal case. And a long story short, the Supreme Court could not hear my case because the lower courts here in the province, in the city here, refused to make a ruling on the Section 11B charter argument. And that kind of ended that. I would have to bring back my criminal appeals to the courts here, and well, the likelihood of them cooperating, well, unlikely. So that kind of answers that regarding the criminal. And for anyone who's new to the channel, the criminal has to do with the alleged assaulting a police officer and alleged obstruction charges, which I was convicted of in July of 2016. And if you want to know the whole backstory to that, what happened, read some of the description boxes. I have some videos telling the story in some detail. Sorry about that. I don't know what that was all about. So the lawsuit. I stopped posting videos last spring, I believe. Had to do with the lawsuit and everything else, and took down all my videos pretty much. Started making some of them public. And what happened a few months ago was most of my lawsuit was struck. Everything was struck except one element. And the reason why they convicted me was they needed their defense. That's the only reason why I was convicted. So that took care of part of the lawsuit. But the other part of the lawsuit was struck because it was too vague, which is an argument they should have made, where are we now, 5 years ago when the lawsuit began. So leaving me with one element wasn't yeah, there was nothing left to it. So, and then I had costs awarded against me, which was quite a bit. And I had an emotional breakdown in court for the first time. And finally everything just piled on top of me, and I realized it was over. And I spent a couple of months right after trying to find local lawyers to help. And all I'll say is after 2 months they came back to me and said they cannot help me because of pushback. So I was left to try to figure all this out myself, and while I'm dealing with my breakdown. So I ended up withdrawing the lawsuit, and what was it? It was yesterday actually that I had received the copy of the consent order to withdraw the lawsuit. So the lawsuit's over, criminal matter's over, and after 7 years I have no vindication and nothing to show for it, and I'm left penniless. And that's that. And a couple of things I realized, one of which was over the years I've been fighting for truth and justice. These people were fighting over ego. And when you have an army of people fighting against you, regardless of what their motive is, eventually they're going to win just because that's the way it is. So, and I think at one point I became no better than them when I wanted the city representative who threatened my second lawyer to sign an affidavit. It was a simple affidavit to, just saying whatever it said. And never even replied to it, obviously. How can you deny it? But where I became no better than they, because I wanted him to sign the affidavit, and then I could present my evidence, audio recordings of the fact that what he did do, and I was wrong for doing that. I mean, I guess in my head I tried to justify them destroying my life based on lies, and I guess for me I was justifying it, well, at least I'm being truthful, and it was no better. So anyway, so the lawsuit's over, and I spent 7 years trying to fight for truth and justice among wicked people, and all this stemming from a lie by a female, and things just escalated. So as I was finalizing the withdrawal of the lawsuit, I wrote a personal letter to the former officers, and I suppose it was addressed also to the local police here. And I said I wasn't going to broadcast it, and I'm not. It's a personal, private letter, and I'm not expecting anything from it. But it was from a personal perspective, and they know what it said, and they have to live with that. And anyone who withholds that letter from them, well, they've cursed themselves. And reading that letter, you'll understand. They understand what I mean. So everything is over, and now I don't know what to say. So anyway, I have a couple of videos that I had made since I stopped making videos that I never did anything with. So I'm going to make them part of this video. Feel free to watch them if you want, whatever. And I'll be posting at least one more video after this, and I think a lot of people will be surprised by that video. And anyway, the year is almost up. We're almost heading into 2020. And I'll share one more little tidbit. So last week, I had learned that apparently I survived being aborted. And for those of you who know me, I drowned twice. I died by water twice when I was a kid. And I survived being deliberately poisoned in my late teens, and I have a whole bunch of stories like that throughout my life, and to learn about this at this point in my life is I don't know what to think of it. But anyway, it explains a lot. It explains a lot in my childhood. So anyway, wish everyone well, and please like, subscribe, comment, and share.
The mistake I made was to seek truth and justice among the wicked, and as a result, I have costs awarded against me which I cannot afford, prompting me to withdraw my lawsuit with nothing to show for my efforts over the past 7 years to date and the time and money I spent. Not being able to pay these costs mean I can face jail up to 40 days for contempt each time until it is paid in full, further imposing on an innocent person. But this appears to be more than just about my cases, as if I'm successful, others may sue the police and city as well. Highlighting a few key points. I have audio of the female after the May 4, 2013 police assault on me, saying they told her I was going to drug her, yet they deny finding intestinal gas pills in my pocket, which prompted them to cripple me, causing the former officer and soon-to-be former officer to tighten the handcuffs as they do with actual pedophiles. This is supported by them profiling me by 9 a.m. the next morning as someone who mimics a pedophile grooming a child, which is supported by her telling me she fell in the shower because she alleges she felt dizzy after I dropped her off, which I also documented via audio recordings and an online journal, which is supported by why they took the text messages out of context, which is supported by when they say they were required by law to tell her and other agencies to protect her, which is supported by her telling me she was sorry for what happened, implying it was her fault, which is supported by her changing her story from her being the alleged victim to rumors of it being someone else, which is supported by her telling me the second executive director told her he needs to clean up her mess. I uncovered the massive attempt to pin various sexual crimes on me, which fell apart when the female changed her story, the sex crimes unit clearing me, and my audio and video efforts when meeting with the female. Now the police and the city are left with doing damage control, thus evidence that transcripts were tampered with, threats to my second lawyer which have not been denied in any way, the lawsuit being mentioned during their criminal trial, the ignoring of my Section 11B charter argument to be tried within a reasonable time, being convicted despite the evidence to the contrary of the prosecutor's evidence, which is the testimony of the former officer and soon-to-be former officer. In part, this is based on any city that contracts with non-government employees, such as police, having invested interest in making sure the police are not at fault, as the city's insurance will not pay out if and when the police are at fault. Anyone hearing the official narrative by authority blindly believes that all, or at least some, of what is said about me must be true, forgetting the same happened and happens to those people who are exonerated after being imprisoned for decades. The false narratives are beyond the point of repair for them, which began May 5, 2013 and carried on with the former officer's testimony in November of 2013 and onward. They cannot afford to admit they are all wrong, let alone incompetent. The problem I and countless others have is my case is not serious enough to get the attention it deserves. However, the need for me to be convicted is more than about me and my suing the police. I learned it also has to do with the possibility of the female and other agencies that supported her also being able to sue if I'm successful. For example, other agencies and persons within signed affidavits against me, not only based on what the female told them, but what the police told them as well, which is supported by the restraining order she filed against me, after she told me she would be my witness. All this and more are part of court records which are in public domain. This is why more than 50% of innocent people, males, are convicted of any type of crime.
Often he said, I never said I killed King. I didn't kill him. I'm pleading cause of Alford. That's ALFORD. It's a moderately old U.S. Supreme Court case, and it says, even if you are not actually guilty and you are pristinely innocent, you may plead guilty to the charge if you think that doing so is in your best interest under all of the circumstances as you know them to be, and you're doing so freely, voluntarily.
They have attempted to destroy me with lies, but what will the truth do to them? Rhetorically asked.
This means you are going to be the winner. Listen to this and write it down if you can't remember it. You're never going to outgrow warfare. You simply must learn to fight. I hear people saying to me, oh, when is it going to get easier? When you die.
A special thank you to those who have been following my story and sharing. Another video should follow unless something should happen to me. Peace be with you.
Hello, today is October 30th, 2019, and the time is 12:59 a.m. I took a long drive, and I've been sitting out here in the middle of nowhere, and it's dark. I have lights around that I turned on, so it's hard. The 6.5 years I've been dealing with this, and it's just been a nightmare for me. And fight has not only been for me, but for the benefit of everyone. And I've shared so much, and I'm being punished, I guess, for speaking the truth. But I guess when somebody pleads guilty and they're innocent, they rely on this precedent. It has to tell you something when there's a precedent in law where innocent people are pleading guilty, and it's just it's got to tell you something. And I know there's a lot of people who know my story very well. And so this, I wanted to say sorry for such a delay, and I'll be in touch. I just want this to be over with, and I can't afford the trek across country, and I anyway, I just wanted to touch base with everyone, and I want to thank everyone who has stuck by me. I really thank everyone for support. There's a lot of people that reach out to people and tell my story, so I'm not going to ramble on. And yeah, just want to wish everyone well. And I used to end my videos by saying, if you like my video, please like, subscribe, comment, and share. I guess I said it, so there it is. I wish I had better news for everyone.